Morning everyone, Dan, GnarlyChicken Garage. Today we're going to finish up the KTM 350 with a new chain and some new Tusk wraparound handguards. Primary drive ring chain and some Tusk wraparound handguards. Some new levers. So the very first thing I've done is I've set the adjusters on both sides to the equal length. You want to make sure that your adjusters are set so that when you put a new chain on and eventually when you have to tighten it, you've got room to come back, which there's lots of room here. So I'm going to wheel this off and put the new chain on and then make an adjustment and start cutting. Boink! There it is. Man, that is worn down. There's two ways you can do this. You can either take your favorite grinder and just grind these down, which is pretty simple if you don't have the chain breaking tool, or you can push these out with the tool, which is what I'm going to show you what I do. So this is the tool that I use. I've had this for a long time. So in here you've got your pin for pushing out your links, and inside that you've got your spring. So you just set your spring in, set your tip in, screw this guy in until you can see him just coming out the other end here. And you're just going to set this over one of the links, screw in your tool so it butts up with the pin evenly. So I'm going to turn the camera over there. Put you over here. Now those pins are pretty flattened out, but it'll get harder, and then you'll all of a sudden feel the pin pushing through on the other side. It'll get a little easier. Look, right now it's spinning pretty hard. And there it goes. A little easier, and that pin should be going through now. So I'm just going to back this off and show you what it's looking like. There you go. So you can see the pin's been pushed out on the other side, and that didn't take much force at all. Maybe I can pull it out with my hand. Nope. So put this back on again. There it goes. That is done. And there's the pin right out the other side. Back off the whole thing again, and you're just going to rewind your tool back out so it's flush. Turn this back in again, and now we're going to do the second pin. The other side. There you go. You want to make sure that your adjusters are set so that when you put a new chain on and eventually when you have to tighten it, you've got room to come back, which there's lots of room here. So primary drive chain, very good chain and quite inexpensive. Grab a hold of it and then just wrap them back up on top. Pull it as tight as you can and then set it on the sprocket before, whatever. There's where I'm going to break the chain, right here. Okay, an inside link here, and when I take this one off, I'll be left with an inside link with it. So that I can take the new master link. Alright, I'm now going to do the same thing as I did before and bust this right here. So you know, always double and triple check before you start busting chains, and be on the loose side as much as possible, because once you cut it, you can't add much more links to it. So we're going to do the exact same thing to break the new link off as the old one. These will be a little stiffer, a little harder, so it gets easier than hard than easier. That's when you know it's pushed through, it's peening on the that little peened end, it's pushed through. So these new chains, they come with options either to put a solid master link in or the quick pin like the one I took out here. I prefer using the master, the big link for 4 strokes. There's the link pin, and we'll just slide this off. And now I'm just going to push this guy in and put some O-rings on here. Give them some grease. Just smear a little on there. Poke them through. Take another one. You guys know how much I love working with grease. Grease is great. Love it. Oop, that's too much. Wozers, get out of that. There you go. A few more O-rings. Slide him on. You don't want to put too much grease on, because then you'll be finding that you really have to force that clip on, and if you make it too tight, which I'm going to show you, your chain will bind. Just going to temporarily kind of place him on there, give him a little squeeze so he stays. Now I'm going to take my tool again, my Motion Pro tool, change a couple adjusters on it, so that I'm pushing these pins in and peening, or pushing these pins and peening them like these ones are, to lock them in place. There's the new plate, and it's out quite a ways, and I can't really, I gotta get that in there some more. So there's another tool compared to the other ones. You see how far out it is? There's another tool that comes with the kit that you can use to do that. Now you can take pliers if you want, you know, or vice grips, whatever, and push that in. I've done that before, but there's a tool that works pretty handy with this. So it comes with a backing plate, which sits, as you can see, it's got 2 little slats in it there. That's going to sit on this side. Okay? And that's going to hold that in place. So I'm going to set this tool piece right in here. And on the push side, it's got another push plate with 2 holes in it, which I'm going to put over here. And that's going to allow me, sorry, I got to take my my tools out of this, because you don't need these in here for that. You don't want them in there at all, actually. So I'm going to set this guy in here. Now, this sometimes takes a little bit of lining up. Push this guy in and line him up so that the holes of that plate are right over your new pins. And you'll know when they're in, because they kind of lock in place. There, that's just snapped in there nice. Push that in a little bit more. It's all even. So that's going to allow the plates now to push in over the pins and tighten those up. But now I'm going to have to get a wrench to put a little more zing on that. So we're just going to tighten this down, and that's going to push that plate in. Sort of eyeball it. See if that did the job, which it did. You want to push the plate in enough so that the little clip grooves are accessible if you're going to slide on the master link, which we're not going to do, remember. So now I can take these attachments out, set them back over there, drop my wrench down. Now I'm going to put the peening tool in here, which has that tip on it right there. You're going to load in your spring first, plunk, load in your tip, push him up a little bit, load in your adjuster, tightening thread, bring him up to just under flush. Good. And now you're going to do one pin at a time. So I'm going to take this little attachment on the end here that's got a little recess on it, which is going to sit right on there. You're going to load him in, and you're just going to take your tool and line everything back up again. Now before I do that, I want to make sure that this is moving, okay, which it is. You see, it's got nice movement to it, as much as the other one. So that's good. That's good tension there on the chain. I didn't push that that plate in too tight, and that's what you want to be mindful of. So you're going to line your tool up so it's flush, in place, pull this in, and then you're going to, a little bit at a time, on each one, start cranking in your peening head so that that starts to mushroom. It doesn't take much. These are quite a bit of force behind them, so do a little bit at a time on each one. And if you find that this key that you're using is just not enough oomph to it, then definitely put a wrench on there. You can basically really closely grab another little pin here. You see where these holes on the pins have they've really widened out? I mean, that's from the head of that pin going in and just mushrooming that out. So it doesn't need to look, it's not going to look like these ones, but it's enough there that it's pushed in and expanded the heads of those pins enough that will keep that now in place. And if we do one more quick check, okay, so there's a link, that came on the chain. It's they're not bound up at all, but they're snug. And there's the one that I just did, and it's acting the same way. Okay, so that's the chain. Now I'm just going to make an adjustment back here, tighten this up some, and very simple job with the tool. Tools, specialty tools, make it so much easier. So I got the tool all apart here, but this is basically what it looks like. Comes with your different accessories. I've got brand new accessories for it because, like I said, somebody wrecked one of mine. But you can get them right online on Motion Pro if you need. And yeah, everything just comes nicely packed together. For some reason that's smushed and broken. Wonder how that happened. Holy jeez, chicken. Yeah, so that's the Motion Pro tool. Okay. On to the handguards next. And new levers. New levers!